Hello everybody. For today's video, I would like to discuss a little bit of care for your mental health, but in a more generalized concept. So it won't go into depth about any disorders or illnesses, but it will go into how to take care of your mental health during a specific holiday, which around the corner, tomorrow, in my perspective, maybe it's already in your time zone, but for Valentine's Day. Now, Valentine's Day is typically celebrated with the theme being love, right? So I want you to either pause the video or just take a moment to really ask yourself, what is your definition of love? Love can have many different definitions. Although when it comes to holidays such as this one, it typically is reduced into a specific type of relationship with a significant other, such as a couplehood. So oftentimes people may feel like they are lacking that love if they're not in a relationship with somebody, or they feel like they aren't celebrating the holiday enough, or they feel a little bit more lonely that day because they don't have anything to show for it, or they don't have that love to receive or give as they see compared to social media. Typically, you're scrolling through your social media, you see a lot of people posting their Valentine's Day plans, their gifts, their surprises, or their significant others. And that's a beautiful way of them showing it. And you may feel a little low about it, but I want you to take a second and realize this. The relationships you have don't all have one definition, right? Relationship can have many different definitions. So why can't love? Love can have many different definitions for you as well. You can have different ways of showing love. There are different levels of love for different types of people and relations that you have in your life. So back to that question, what is love to you? You can have that power to redefine it in whatever way, shape, or form you can. So if you have that power, try to ask yourself, okay, if Valentine's Day is a day to display an act of love or to show my appreciation for love, or whatever way, shape, or form you choose to celebrate it or you would like to celebrate it, just think about the other elements in your life that you can display love and the different levels of love you can show for others. So it can be on many levels. For one, it can be with a significant other, if you already do have a significant other and you're watching this video. Or it can be at the level of familial relationships with relatives. You may have relatives that you are close to and that have that unconditional love aspect for you. Those goggles of love are different than love with a significant other. So that's another realm. You can have it with friends. You may have friends that you're very close to and you love them, right? So that's another definition and another level of love, different than a significant other level of love. Then there is love for society, love for the community that you're in a broader spectrum, in a more generalized group. Love for a pet is also different than love for a significant other. So as you ponder all the definitions of love and all the ways that you love people in your life, or beings or concepts, ask yourself, okay, how do I want to celebrate Valentine's Day then if I have all of these different areas of love in my life already? So one way could be, there are certain people that do feel lonelier about it, and the holiday spirit of it all can bring them a sense of loneliness, and that's completely valid for you to feel that way. You may feel like you want some love out there. So in essence, where you feel that there's nobody there right now, you're not involved with anybody, you're not dating, you're not in a relationship or married at the moment, try to ask yourself, okay, if I were on a date, what would I want to do? Okay, let's see. And think of a way that you can fulfill that need or that want or desire for yourself on Valentine's Day. So if you want to be taken out, you want to be wined and dined, you may choose to do so on Valentine's Day. Take yourself out. Get yourself a good meal. Get yourself some wine if you drink alcohol. Or maybe stay in and watch a movie. You would like to go to the movies too. You can go out to a movie theater, cinema, and go enjoy a movie, or a picnic at the park. Find a way to do it for yourself and tune into that, nourish that, Give yourself what you're seeking in others. That specific element that you're seeking in others, you can, if you are so willing to give it to others, think about how great it would be to give it to yourself as well. You gotta fill up your cup so that way you don't end up pouring out of an empty cup. So maybe if you are alone on Valentine's Day, take the time to fill your cup a little bit, to fill yourself up a little bit, to kind of like give out that, like the hugging gesture and turn it in metaphorically and even physically. If you want to give yourself a quick little hug, do it. I mean, by all means, do what feels good for you and show yourself some self love. Take a self care routine, for example, or perhaps give yourself a mental health day. Give yourself a little break from your routine if you feel that, you've been keeping up with the routine pretty well, going with the flow of everything. Give yourself the day to have a mental health day. What greater act of love is that? There's no greater act of love than to give yourself some time and tune it inward a little bit every so often so that way you can reset and be ready enough to give it outward. Another way to celebrate it, you could celebrate it with family. If you have close relationships with your family, you can see who doesn't have plans that day. Show them your appreciation, connect with them in the way that you have, the memories that you have shared with them. Take a stroll down memory lane, go out to lunch together, enjoy the day together, plan something. And you could show that other level of love that's separate from a significant other love. You can show the love that's unconditional, that's understanding, that's supportive, that has been through all of your life changes, that has been a witness to your relationships if you've had relationships that they have been aware of. So try to do that. If you have friends that are very close to you and they don't have plans either, take the time to celebrate the day with them. You can go out somewhere depending on what interests you share. Take part in doing an activity that you both love. Love. And then just dial into that. Enjoy the day. Seize the day. Go shop. Go eat somewhere. Maybe take some time to talk about things that you need to talk about, or take the time to catch up with them. Take the time to ask how they're doing, or you can even, if you're really really close to that friend, sometimes you can even take the day to reflect upon each of your relationships that you've had throughout your life, and that can be another way of assessing love, assigning it, seeing it under the microscope together perhaps. Or if you want to completely forget about it, do things that don't remind you of that day. There's different ways that you can take on Valentine's Day. Another way you can do so too, like let's say if you're very involved with your community, whatever community you may be in or you may identify yourself with, whether that be just people in general in your society, your neighborhood, let's say you volunteer for a certain group or a certain cause. If you volunteer to help animals in an animal shelter, or you volunteer at retirement homes or children's hospital wards, or let's say you are actively involved in maybe a political group, you are involved with the religious group, such as a church, a temple, a mosque, whatever you may worship. Let's say you have specific communities, such as those identify with your race, and you want to like share that community, that bond, and that togetherness together. It could be a time to kind of tune into it and really be mindful within that group and show your love and appreciation for your roots, for that specific facet in your personality, that specific element in your lifestyle. If you are an LGBTQIA plus member, you can even take the time to give into your community that way. There's many different ways that you could show it towards society. I mean, it can go out there. It can be to do a loving and kind gesture to a stranger perhaps that day, or donate somewhere, maybe volunteer somewhere, go visit a specific location you want to visit, a specific group of people who you think may need that love, because there are also a lot of people who may be isolated as well, but for other reasons other than your own, or the people you may relate to that may see eye to eye with certain issues. You can even do so with, for example, if you don't decide to go to a specific group or reach out to a specific group, when you just encounter people out there at the store, at the gas station, at the restaurant, anywhere, take the day to be very kind to others. Like, be kind to others as much as you can. I think that has a ripple effect every day in your life, but try to assign that for yourself on this specific day. Try to be very kind and compassionate with other people. Maybe go out of your way a little bit for other people. Like, it could be as simple as holding the door open for somebody, or having a conversation, or if you see someone who's in need on the street, try to give them money if you have the allowance to, or food, or just a smile to a stranger, or an affirmation to somebody, a compliment. That can have such a big ripple effect. It's like, it's the butterfly effect. And just as a butterfly effect can cause a hurricane, what can a good gesture do in another, the opposite side of the spectrum? Think about that ripple effect it could take on. You never know who may need that kind gesture that day, and how big of an effect it can actually have. A thing that I did one Valentine's Day, I remember when I went to UTEP, the University of Texas at El Paso. I had class on Valentine's Day, and at the time I wasn't dating anybody. And so I just had a random idea the night before. So I decided to write a bunch of little papers. Well, I got a whole sheet of paper, and I decided to write little lines on that paper, like maybe about yay big. And I put a lot of good affirmations on it. I put, you are beautiful, you are smart, you are wise, you are loved. All of the things you can think of, all the good affirmations that have to do with a person's self esteem, that can boost somebody's self esteem. Just maybe just loving quotes too from books, and just quotes that are very commonly used about love, telling them that they're successful, they can achieve anything that they want. So I wrote a bunch of different variations of good affirmations. I tore off the little pieces of paper, and then I just folded them and put them in a tin can. And I actually had a break between a couple class periods. So I was like, okay, this will be my perfect opportunity. I'm an introverted, mind you, I'm a very introverted individual. So I don't really go out of my way to talk to people as much. Like, I'm not very out there if I don't need to be. But I felt, okay, this is a day of displaying love. How can I show love to somebody, anybody, the community? So I walked around campus, and I opened up my tin. I just randomly grabbed a note, and I would pass it to random people here and there. And I mean, there were a couple people who would read it right away, and their faces lit up. And I think that's very beautiful, because you never know where they're coming from. You never know what those words could mean for somebody, what point they are in their lives. And even if they have all that love, I mean, there's so much to give. Why not do it? It's free. So that's an example of something that I did, that I don't know if you want to pay it forward and go for it and do it. It's a very beautiful feeling. It was a very nice change of pace of showing love. And you can do that, or you can just say compliments to people, or leave little notes. Of course, don't vandalize anything, but if you can leave perhaps a paper that won't defecate anything. No, not defecate. Oh goodness, that's the wrong word. That won't ruin anything. So sorry. You can just leave like a note somewhere, and then someone could read, and it's something very beautiful in there. And so you can do little gestures like that. You can just try to find a way to express the good that I know you possess in you, and let it shine a little bit. Pay it forward. If you have pets, pets are wonderful companions. They are very selfless, and they give us a lot without us even having to really communicate with them in like the way we're communicating with English language. They can just give us a look, or they just appreciate the fact that we feed them, and they give us love at the end of the day. If we've had a tough day, they're excited to see us. So another way can be showing love to your pet. That can tie in with your staying in part, or you can take them out for a walk. You can give them a special treat that day. You can give yourself a special treat that day, because you deserve it too. So there are so many different ways you can celebrate Valentine's Day. It's a day, after all, that has to do with love. No matter how much society tries to change it a little bit in order to benefit some sort of commercialized image of it, no matter how much pressure there is out there to have it at a certain stake. Just understand that the fundamental meaning of the day is supposed to be about love. So go back to your metrics. Try to ask yourself how you define love and what different ways you can show it, what different ways you have it expressed in your life, and what different relationships you have in your life with all levels of love. So take the time and think about yourself. Think about your life, reflect upon it and those around you, and ask yourself, how can I show love today? And go for it and do it. Spread some joy out there, and you have no idea how much you can change everybody. And that can even have a positive effect on you. So think about it. I mean, it's a win-win situation. You give when you give something very good, it gives you a really good feeling inside. So why not partake in that? It's a positive way of doing it. Enjoy your day. Happy Valentine's Day from me to you. My heart pours out to you. I love you. Thank you.